Okay, in the last video, we wrote some code, some JavaScript, and we are now going to deploy it. So you deploy that on the form. You head over to make.powerapp.com, and I really recommend using solutions. Try to use solutions for everything. We have a solution here where we have the lead, and what we want to do is we want to go to the form for the lead to deploy our script. The first thing we're going to do, though, before we actually create the web resource is we're just going to go into make.powerapps.com and we're going to hide that tab by default first. So we're going to open up the form, we're going to click on that tab, and then we're going to make sure that that's hidden by default. It's just a choice. We don't have to do that, but that's what we're going to do in this case. You click hide on the right side, and remember, like always in make.powerapps, you click save and publish. So now we're saving and publishing this because we just want to hide this tab first. Now, JavaScript is deployed using web resources. So the next step that we're going to have to do is to create what's called a web resource. And to do that, of course, we're going to go back to our main component list, and we're going to click New, and they kind of hide. I've noticed that they sort of hide the web resources these days, but anyway, you click New, and you come down to More, and you'll find web resource at the bottom. Now this is fairly simple. All you do here is the web resource comes up, you click choose file, you choose your file on your desktop, and then that will load up your file, and then what you'll need to do then is create a display name, and what you'll need to do is create a schema name. So first, the display name can be anything, of course, and the schema name should be something relatively simple and short. And once you've done that, you can put a description if you want to. I don't usually do that, but you can. But once you do that, you can go ahead and save your web resource. Now that's the first step. Okay, you create the web resource first. It's in the system. The next thing you need to do is you need to go into the form itself to deploy it. Now when you deploy JavaScript, you can deploy JavaScript at the form level or at the attribute or field level. The first thing we're going to do here, just to demonstrate, is we're going to deploy it at the form level. That's simple enough. You just open up the form and you go to what are called events at the form level. And you'll see it over on the right-hand side when the form loads. You'll just click on the Events tab right next to Properties on the right-hand side of the screen. And you'll create what's called a library, really just adding a library that already exists. You type in the schema name. If you just type in the prefix, you'll find all your JavaScripts, and you'll choose that one, and you click Add. Now you've just added a so-called library, which is your script, to the form. But now you have to create what's called a form handler. In this case, we're going to use an onLoad handler. So you click a new event handler, and you have to go to your script, and you have to get the function. And if you remember the script, it'll be right in front of the first parentheses, and it's the name of the function. And you just have to put the name of the function in, and then what you make sure you do is you always check past execution context as the first parameter, because remember, we're doing that with our code. So now what you've done is you've just created an event handler and a library on your form, onLoad. The event handler is onLoad. Now we're saving and publishing. Now, when you do this, it means that when the page loads, or the form loads, your script will run. That's what onLoad means. So we've just deployed that. So that means we come back to our form in the app, and by the way, you just really want to click Control F5 at least once, sometimes a couple of times. But yeah, you just want to refresh your page really well. All right, so now what we've got a situation here where we're going to change to ready for contact. We don't see that tab, We click save, and it's not there yet. Why? Because we haven't reloaded. Now we're going to reload after saving the page, right? And now we should see follow-up, and there it is. The follow-up tab showed up. So our script is working. But you know what? To be honest, it's part of the solution. If you think about it, wouldn't it be better if the tab showed up right away, as soon as you changed BF status, right? Would be better. So we didn't do anything wrong by deploying it on load, and many times you just, it's only on load is all you want to deploy. But let's do something additionally. Let's set an event handler, not just on the form, but on the field. So let's make this thing run when we change the field. What do? You have to go back to your form, and then what you do in this case is not the form level. You actually go to the attribute. You actually go to the on the form. You go to the form, of course, but what you do is you go to the attribute or the field that you want to act upon with your script, and you put an event handler there, right? Now in this particular case, ours is up in the header. So I click on it, and over on the right-hand side, I've got an events. See the events tab? I choose an event handler here. It's the same thing. You just go get the same function. You pass the execution context to the first parameter, and then you're done. But what does this do? Well, once you save and publish this application, this event handler on this field, it means that your script will not only run when the form loads, it'll also run when you change that attribute, when you change that field, change the value of it immediately. And because it happens client-side, it happens in front of the eyes of the user. It's much better than having to refresh the screen, right? So again, we did this. We're definitely going to want to refresh. But now watch very carefully here and see the difference. You'll see that when we change the attribute, the actual field up in the header, that will immediately get relief. We'll immediately get what our script will run right away. So watch this. Not reviewed, boom, disappears. You see that? It just disappeared right there. Now, I save the record, fine, whatever. I go back and immediately change it. Watch what happens. Boom, comes right back, right? So that's how you deploy JavaScript to a form in two ways. The other thing that I want to show is the console. So when you have that console, remember we put the current status in the console of the code so that we show that. Now, it also allows people to click on your script and see the source code. This is great for troubleshooting. But some people don't like to expose that, so you might want to take your console messages out. I don't usually do that, but you can. I mean, a person has to be fairly technical. They've got to click F12 and so forth. But some people just don't want to do that. It's really, really, really handy for troubleshooting. So I hope that helps. That's how you write and deploy JavaScript in Power Platform. Thanks very much for watching.